Hey everybody, welcome to Rubicon's basement. I was out of the basement, but now I am back in it. I am fresh from Delaware, Ohio, which is just a little, maybe 20 minutes, 15 minutes north and west of Columbus, Ohio, if you're familiar with that area. We had the Buckey Battle tournament there, which was fantastic, but let me get to the beginning of this first. This is the intro part, so if you're following in the description, what's going to happen is you're going to have a kind of a itemized time thing on the intro. So you're going to have, this will be the intro part, it's going to go for so many minutes, and then I'm going to talk about different subjects. So instead of doing a bunch of short, choppy little videos, I'm going to do one long one covering a lot of things, but I'm going to have it in the description so that you can see at what minute the next section is going to start. So if you're not interested to see how well Rube did in the tournament, you can skip that part. If you're interested to see how OnceBitten did in the tournament, you can wait for his video, or I can give you the teaser and let you know right now to let you about my experience, some of the armies that I played, rundown of just everything about the tournament, from the organizers and all that stuff. So look for that in the description. My cat's going crazy because I've been gone for 2 days. He's back. So look for that in the description, and I'll have it labeled. So I'm going to take a second every once in a while, write down things before I get to the next subject. So that will be called the intro. The intro will begin from 0 minutes to, by the time I get going, to approximately 0 to 2 minutes. I'm going to go over this, and when I hit roughly 2 minutes, I'll be talking about just the tournament in general. So we're pretty close now, so we'll just do that. So this is the first tournament that I went to, and when I got there, I am going to do a little video. I have done a little video. I have to post it, but it's getting out of the car and just seeing the venue, seeing the campus, Wesleyan University. It was really, really pretty, and it was a nice sunny day. It was 70 degrees, no humidity, and we're going right inside to play war games with the theater room, which is dark and soundproof and no windows and stuff, so it's kind of ironic, but everything there was magnificent. So special shout outs to Jeff Parkhurst, who I contacted many times via email. Spot in the tournament opened up, got me in, even had a spot open for my son, but he didn't want to come and spend 3 days in the gaming society. And so special shout out to Jeff. There's another fellow there named Alan, who is just a blast. He also plays 40K, so we'll forgive him a little bit, but super, super cool guy. I wrote down some other names here. There was another gentleman there named Doug, who was part of the coordination, and he actually played in the tournament a little bit, but just super, super great people all around. There was another fellow there whose name is Chad. Now this Chad guy, he works in the theater room or owns a theater room, or that's his office or something. I'm not exactly sure 100% how it works, but they had like 54 tables, and they're all 6x4, and this guy has to coordinate the little tables that you pull out and set up, and then set these gaming tables on top of that. So he's got to get these 54 tables from all these different places, load them up onto the stage because it's a theater, and set them all up. Now, not by himself, and apparently he gets some help, but he also makes the terrain. So in his off time, he's making tables, and he's doing the painting and the texturing on all of the tables. I really don't know what I'm saying. This is all off the cuff because I'm pretty tired, but I wanted to get this out as soon as possible so tomorrow I can upload just everything. But special shout out to that guy, Chad. And I'm sure there's people that worked, and this is my first year, worked and did things that I have no idea. But this tournament, if anyone's ever not been to a tournament, I was a little intimidated because it was first time, and it was like 108 people that were there, and it was just fantastic. Everything was fantastic. The venue was fantastic. We had Subway and we had pizza for lunch. Everybody was back on time. I can't say enough. It was clean. The people were awesome. The players were very empathetic. I was getting my butt whipped in this game, and this guy kept apologizing. And I told him, you have an awesome army, and you have a home to a razor's edge, and you're playing it like a magnificent general. And my dice aren't working for me. But that even if my dice were rolling like demons, which he was playing demons, even if they were rolling that good, it wouldn't help me because this guy played well and had a great army. So that's all I gotta say. But he was apologetic and felt sympathetic for me losing almost my entire army. So little teaser for when I go over my stuff. So that's pretty much all the things I wanted to talk about. The event again, and the people were just so cool. So that's the tournament, and that took us from 2 minutes to roughly 5. So we're going to go from 5 minutes. One thing that was kind of neat was I'm going to talk a little bit about, gotta circle this here. I got there and there was a break, and when we got to the break, this fella comes up to me and says, "Are you Rubicon?" And I said, "Yeah, I am." He's like, "My name's John, and I recognized your army from your YouTube videos. I'm a subscriber." And it was just really, really a neat experience. So we got to talking, and this leads into another story, which I don't want to tell now. But I've been drinking a couple beers, like 8.5 proof, and they were by this guy who had a dwarf army, which I will put down the, what's it called? He has a .com address or some kind of page that you can find, and I'll put that on so you can get pictures of it and stuff. But anyways, his dwarven, and I have photos of it, so upcoming, his dwarven thing was a some kind of brew theme type thing, and it was real big, and there was a mountain in the back, and actually there was a keg in the bottom. So you pull the tap at the back of the mountain, and out came beer. And I played against this guy. So after this game is when my friend John, my now friend John, subscriber, came up to me and asked me about my army and stuff, and I had a couple beers. But John has a magnificent Tomb King's army, and I did a special tribute to his army because he has a Hyro Titan, something gives you die 3 every spell or something like that. But I'll describe it in that, and that's a separate video all by itself, and I want to talk about that when it comes. So that was another thing I wanted to talk about, was John and his Tomb King's army, and that it was a subscriber. So I don't want to say a little celebrity status, but it was kind of neat to have somebody recognize your army from your videos and then connect you with the name and then say hi. So that was very, very cool, and I appreciate that greatly. So that took us from 5 to roughly 7 minutes talking about John and my subscriber. Another thing I wanted to talk about was, got that. I wanted to talk about another fella. This is gonna be from 7 minutes to whenever. There was another fella named Rob. I believe his last name was Fairenough or Farnough. It was PHU. Anyway, he was my first opponent. He also played Tomb King. But shout out to Ohio Hammer, which is Rob from Ohio Hammer, will this be called. And we did a little segment at the end of everything, and he actually interviewed me. So in a couple weeks from now, I guess I'll be on Ohio Hammer podcast. But this guy Rob was just a super cool guy, and we were playing as a first tournament, and just made me feel real comfortable and just absolutely fantastic. He laid out his army, and to be honest with you, I thought that I would do very well against him. And spoiler, I didn't, but he had these dice, and you probably can't see them from this far, but these are some kind of Tomb King dice, and every time he'd roll the scarab here, I thought it was a 1. Well, it's not, it's a 6. And these gosh darn scarabs came up more often than I would like to remember. So at the end of the game, I picked up one of the dice and I said, "These things roll nothing but scarabs." Special funny note, I was calling them cherubs. I go, "Why do you keep rolling those cherubs?" And then he let me say that about 5 times, but he was too polite to correct me. The cherubs are those things, those little angels that your grandmothers get, and they put them in the curio cabinet and look at them. These are called scarabs. So he was very gentlemanly about it. I picked up the dice, and of course I rolled a scarab. So at the end of the game, he's like, "I'm going to give you 2 dice, and you can keep these. And when you really, really need them to roll good, pull them out of your pocket and use them." And I used them once. It rolled a 6 for first turn. But of course, my opponent had +1 to go. He also rolled a 6. So this little section is going to be about Rob from Ohio Hammer. So if you get a handle on them and listen to their podcast, I would recommend doing that. That's going to take us from roughly 7 to 9 minutes. So we talked about Rob. Let's talk about, got that? Let's talk about very quickly let's talk about the Carter family. The Carter family is father who was the dwarf man that had the beer in the tap and all that stuff. And then I believe he had 2 sons there, and one of which I played at the end. Spoiler, he had Orc and Goblin, I had Orc and Goblin. And it was the most foolhardy game you could ever imagine. When I needed to do something really, really good, if I was successful, it would end in something bad happening to me on his turn, because I would overrun and, "Oh yeah, by the way, my guy can kill everything of yours." Or if I needed to do something not good, like a pump wagon that would want to go too far, I don't want it to go too far, it would go too far. And we just kept throwing this, he called it this bad luck deep beach ball, I believe. Kept throwing it back. It was almost as if we were trying to figure out which one of us could snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Not that either one of us were close to victory, but it's like almost like the Orcs and Goblins didn't even want to win. But that was a great game, and I'm not going to give you the scores for that, but that's a little spoiler alert. I did play Orcs and Goblins in my 5th game, and that son's name was John. I played the father, whose name was Mike, who had the beer that got me liquored up, that when I met Rob, John the subscriber, I had to come back to John the next day and apologize for maybe saying things I shouldn't have after I've had some of this like 9 proof homemade brew beer, which was just glorious. So the Carter family is very cool, and again, I am going to look through my notes and put a link probably at the end of this description, or maybe in the beginning so that everybody can see it, and that link to go to, or at least the website, so that you can go and check out the pictures of the father, Mike Carter's, all of his stuff. He's got some kind of postal theme army. He has this dwarven brew army thing where he has miners, which are literally Empire militia, that have their legs cut off, and they kind of like, I guess, green stuff down, and they're all, I don't know how he did it, but they have little transfers on their shirt. Oh, cut the legs off to make them look short, so they're miners, they're youthful, they're underage drinkers. They all have t-shirts, and on the t-shirts it has some kind of oval that has some kind of a beer name in it. Coors, and you can read it. You have to get close, but you can read it clearly. Some kind of transfer or something. And then on top, as if that's not enough, they actually are miners. They have their picks. And as if that's not enough, these guys have, I can't even imagine how small they are, but they're roughly maybe 4 millimeters by 3 millimeters, something like that. They're in their hand, they're holding an ID, and in the upper right hand, you see a little picture and some scribble marks. It looks like an ID. So those are his miners. And I try to take some close-ups of this army, but and then he's got some kind of Beach Boys theme one that's an Orc and Goblin army where you have beach balls that are squigs, are mangler squigs, and you've got, I mean, all just kinds of crazy. I haven't looked at the website because, like I said, just got home and I grabbed a bite to eat, and I want to put this out there. So again, this episode here is talking about the Carter family, and just very cool, very fun. They've been coming for a number of years, I think 6 years or so, and it was just really, really cool. So that will take us from roughly 9 minutes to 12 minutes and 30 seconds. Next, I want to talk about, this is 12:30 to whatever. I want to talk about, there's another subscriber out there. His name is MobiusPrimal, M-O-B-I-U-S Primal. And you can check out his website. I follow it, and I like his knowledge and tactics of the game, and he's a true player. But what's cool is when I went there, I was there with OnceBitten360, and which is another segment of this, so we're not going to talk too much about that. It's another segment of this, and he's like, hey, I got some friends here. You want to go out with us and have a beer? I said, yeah, that would be great. So we drove down there to this local place, and it turns out that this MobiusPrimal was part of this gaming group, and I met all of his gamer friends from the area. So there was like 5 or 6 guys that used to game with him before he had to move away, and OnceBitten before he had to move away, and they were all still there. So we had some drinking, we had a fish fry, some kind of fish and chips type thing, you know, unlimited all you can eat, but the beer wasn't unlimited, we had to pay for that. And it was just kind of neat because you kind of got a connection with somebody from YouTube, and then they used to play and actually know this person and play with them and stuff. Although we didn't talk about MobiusPrimal, it was just kind of neat that there was a very faint but tentative connection. And these guys were all cool. They were all really, really cool people. Everyone says they're really laid back, but they just really were. They're just interested and intelligent and intellectual, and but not over the top, not esoteric. Right? Just really a good group of human beings that you would want to hang out with or play games with, or you know, anything like that. It seemed like a kind of group of guys that would have your back, and not that anybody would be fighting in a gaming group, but just good people. And that was one of my reservations about this, is are there going to be good people at this tournament, or are they going to be a bunch of rules lawyers and try to eke every little thing out and measure in millimeters as you go up and down through terrain, or make a wheel or anything like that? And it just was not like that. So MobiusPrimal, shout out to you. And I also heard that you are moving back to the Cleveland area, so if you do and you're watching this, which you probably won't because I have a small channel, if you do and you're watching this, I'm going to send you a message anyways. I would love to get together and play a game in Delaware again, depending on where you're at. So this is talking about MobiusPrimal and his gaming group from Dayton. And that's going to take us from 12 minutes 30 seconds to roughly Oh man, we're up to 15 minutes again. Let's go. Let's talk about Once Bitten. So we're gonna go OB360 and Rube, and this is gonna take us from 15 minutes until whenever. So OnceBitten360, I sent him a message and I said, hey, I know you went to Buckey Battles last year. Are you gonna come to Buckey Battles this year? And he said, no, I'm too far away. I got too much stuff going on. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he couldn't. So I was going to go anyways. I was going to go to Buckey Battles and just videotape for the viewers. Spot opened up, and Jeff Parkhurst, who is a coordinator, called me or sent me a message, said, we got spots open. You want to play? I said, yes. They had my reservations, remember? But so then, through communicating with them, I kept asking him questions. He goes, hey, you have a YouTube channel. We'll help promote your channel. I said, that would be fine. I'm not asking for it, but that's great. Because I plan on promoting Buckey Battles. So then, through communication, he goes, yeah, that's right. We have another YouTuber coming, OnceBitten360. And I said, that's awesome. So something must have happened. He freed up his schedule. So I said, that's fantastic. And so I got in touch with him, and I said, hey, I've already got a room. It's already paid for. Can share a room. I got 2 queen beds. Let's get together. Maybe come down early. We'll get a game in on Friday night. And hang out and talk and just talk Warhammer. And my hotel is like 6 minutes away from the thing. So I said, let's hook up. And he said that would be great. So a little bit about Once Bitten. Again, just a fantastic human being, from gamer to like being a father, being a human being intelligent, being well spoken, being, you want to say educated, because that doesn't necessarily mean that you're smart, you can speak well, but educated in the sense that, which he is educated, but educated in just the social graces of humanity, and again, just a good person to be around, to befriend, to I guess to share a room with. So anyway, so we kind of hung out a little bit. We did get a game in, and oh no. All right, still going. So we did get a game in on Friday night. We didn't get all the way through it because they did promise us it would be open till 10 for open gaming, but they wanted to close at 9. So we got to a pretty teetering point in the game, and it probably could have gone either way. I still think we might have eked out a win at the end or a slaughter, but as it was a fun game to finally play, like the godfather of YouTube battle reports. And again, I can't say enough nice things about the guy. Just well-mannered. You name it. Anything that you would see in a human being that would be good, much like these other people, was it. You never meet somebody, so you don't know if they're going to be cocky, or they're going to be arrogant, or they're going to be jaded, or if they're going to be skeptical, or if they're going to be hesitant or forthcoming with any kind of social graces or anything. And it wasn't. It was what a human being should be, what we all should be. Just a normal human being that follows social graces and discusses things in an intelligent manner. And anyway, so that's a little bit about Once Bitten. And that'll take us from 15 minutes to roughly 18 minutes and 30 seconds. And now, you probably don't care, but we're going to talk about sportsmanship, and that'll take us from 1830 to whenever. I won the sportsmanship award. It was the first year of Buckey Battles, and apparently I was a very good sport, because I guess there was like 108 people there, and it's something that I won. And it was kind of neat afterwards, after I had won the award, and I jokingly said to my wife before I left, if I don't win anything, I said, I know, honey, don't come home unless you win something. And she said, no, you come home. So when I went up to go get my plaque, I didn't realize I said it loud enough, because we're in a theater, so your voice travels. I didn't realize I said it really loud enough for everybody to hear. I was only talking to Jeff Parkhurst, who was handing me the award, and I said, well, now at least I go home, because I told my wife that I can't go home unless I win something. And there's a lot of people that chuckled and laughed. I didn't realize my voice had carried that far. So it was kind of neat, so I got to come home, but she wanted me to come home anyway. So I got the sportsmanship score. So that's going to take you from 1830 to 1930, and I might just even combine that with how did Rube do? No, I'll put that in standings, which is the next section. So at 1930 to whenever. So where's my notes? So as far as standings go, and I don't want, because you can go on their website and see how they score and all that stuff, but I don't want to really go into that. But I had out of 108 people, you get scores, and the highest score in the winner, if I read the charts right, scored 156 points. Then the lowest score was 62 points. So 156 for the winner and 62 for the person that got the rubber mallet, came in last place. OnceBitten scored 138 and I came in at 115. So 156 for the winner, 138 for OnceBitten, 115 for Rube, and 62 for the rubber mallet in very last place. So take that for what it's worth. That's not a whole lot, but that's going to take exactly 1 minute. So the next thing I want to talk about is, not sure what else I want to talk about. Oh, my games. Okay. My games will take us roughly from 20 minutes and 30 seconds to whenever I'm done. So my first game was against Rob from Ohio Hammer. I mentioned him. Tomb Kings. And again, gracious player, super good, great guy. I lost that one 8-19. He scored 19, and that includes the bonus points for victory. I lost that. Lost that one 8-19. I gave up 1,057 points. He gave up, I gave up 2,326 points, and I only got 1,057. But with all the objectives and all the extra points and stuff, he wound up creaming me 8-19. So that was game one. I lost. Second game, I made up for it. My friend called me and said, what army do you think you fear the most? And I said, there's this army. It's got all these LED lights. I don't even know what it is. And it scares me because I think it's demons. I don't know what it is. And of course, that was the very next army that I played. So that army, I actually won against. I gave up 485 points. I took 1,255. And I wound up, when it was all said and done, I won that 19-8, which is exactly opposite of the first game. So the second game was 19-8. And then the third game was the game where I met John, my subscriber, afterwards. So this was Mike Carter's Dwarf Army, brew themed. And this was a slugfest, because this game I thought, I'm playing objectives, because there's 3 objectives in the middle of the table, one at 12 inches, one in the very center, one in 12 inches from the other side. And I know I can't move very well, so I'm like, I could claim 2 of the 3 of these objectives. It should give me an edge. Meanwhile, I have so much chaff in my army. I mean, you've seen it on battle reports. I got 3 pump wagons that are easy. Oh my God, excuse me, easy to kill. I got, 2 manglers that, when it's all said and done, they're pretty easy to kill. They're toughness 4 with 3 wounds. So I got a lot of stuff that he can get itty bitty points. Had a couple of those miners came up and started eating stuff. They came up late, which was perfect for him, because my army was already moved forward a little bit, and he was just eating war machines up, which, 35 points for bolt thrower, 80 points for a doom. These things add up. So when it was all said and done, it was pretty close. He took a lot of points off of me. He did get 1 objective. I got the other 2, but the objectives just weren't worth that much to make a difference for the amount of points that he kept pinging off of me everywhere. But kudos to him. He played it like a boss, and my flying Savage Orc Lord with another weapon. He had like 6 attacks because he was frenzied, and he comes in at strength 6. And I had him positioned so that he couldn't grape shot him with the cannon. So he's like, "You're sure you want to do that? Because I'll just shoot my cannonball and kill him." I'm like, "You're not going to kill him, because his base is so small, you'll never hit him." He rolled it 10 inches from the back. He rolled a 10, and then he rolled dice 6 wounds and rolled a 4, 5, or 6 and wound up killing my guy. Had that not happened, I would have had those 255 roughly points back, and I would have ate his cannon the next turn. So that's like, if I gave up 255 and I get that cannon, which is probably around $150, that would have been a 400-point swing, and then that would have made me have like 670 or something, and he would only had 4. So I would have been a win, but with those objectives, I would have won even more with the points. But as it was, I gave up 870. I gave up 870, and I took 226 from him. He wound up winning 14, I had 12. And then I played this army, which was a demon. This is the guy I was touching on before. Is this guy's army. He was a great general. I can't begrudge him anything. It was a ridiculously good painted army, and he played it good, and the army was spot on. I mean, any weakness that it had, he covered up with something else, and it was just really, really a good army. He had like 30 bloodletters with the herald in there. He had 24 or something Nurgle warriors. He had 2 of those cannons that are chariots that could move and do stuff, and he had a level 4 Zinch, and then he had those dog lizard things, whatever, that can ambush and come on at the end of the game. Anyways, he tried really hard to table me, but I would have none of it, and I didn't allow him to do that. So he got all the objectives, but he didn't table me. So max points was 25. He got 23. So there. And but again, great. This is the guy that kept apologizing and felt really bad about knowing from bottom of turn 1 that he was going to just completely or almost table me. But just super, super nice guy, and just was almost apologetic while we're playing. And I said, listen, got a great army. You're playing like a superb general. What are you going to do? You can't just lay back and feel bad for him. It's a tournament. You got to go max points. So I didn't begrudge him anything. It's just the way things are. And so I got 5 points out of it. He got 23. And then the last player that I played, I played John Carter, the son, and we played Orc, and that was a Orc and Goblin versus Orc and Goblin, and that was just a comedy of errors and spoofs. And if I had that on videotape, I think all of you would be whacking your heads with your hand, saying, "What? How could that possibly be? You need a whatever dice to get there, and you don't want to get there because you're forced to charge, and you get there anyways." How many times do you fail animosity and you're forced to charge and you don't want to charge, but now you're closer, but you need double sixes to charge, and you're thinking, cool, I'm still far, it's a makeable charge, I have to roll the distance, but there's no way I'm going to roll double sixes, and you do. I mean, it's just, so how many times do you not want to make a charge? And this kind of stuff happened over and over again. Or when you don't want to roll well and you do, or you do want to roll well and you don't, and you just can't have it all. Anyways, that game actually came down to a complete draw. We both got everything exactly equal. It was a messenger scenario. We both killed each other's messenger, and that was an exactly 11-11 game. So when it's all said and done, and they add in their sportsmanship and all those things, then that's where I stood in the standings with buck 15. And I'm checking the time here because that's going to take us, that was 7 minutes. That's going to take us roughly from 20 minutes and 30 seconds to roughly 27 minutes and 30 seconds. That'll take us to that. And then I really don't have much more to say other than I'm going to put this as summary 27:30 to whatever. What you can look forward to is the video of the venue as I got out of the car and walked it. You're going to get a video as best I could because it was loud, so I didn't do any commentary or anything like that. You're going to get a video of some of the armies I was able to tape as they sat on their display board. And I'm going to try to organize that. I may watch that tonight and then upload these all tomorrow. But some of the armies were just incredibly dynamic, and I don't know if I got all the pictures of everybody's army, but I did the best that I could. I lingered as long as I could on each army, and before I got bumped or moved or asked to move out of the way or whatever. And as time permitted, because we took breaks, and I tried to capture some armies, and then everybody moved to a different table, and we come back, and I couldn't find them, so I didn't know my starting point, my ending point, and I to be honest with you, I kind of gave up a little bit. All the best intentions for the viewers, but bottom line is, it was a great experience, especially at this Buckeye Battles. If it's far, or you need a place to stay or something like that, or because you're concerned about money, the drive is going to eat up gas. Or, they have you can contact me and we can hook up, or we can stay in a room or get a bigger room or double rooms or whatever you want to do. Pack a bunch of people in there. I don't know, but they have a website, so if you need a place to stay on the Buckeye Battle website, it'll actually, I guess, because I haven't been on, they told me about it, is you need a place to stay and you're unfamiliar with the territory and somebody's already got a spot, then you can come in and you can do double up like OnceBitten and I did. So that'll take it to 29, and I'm going to cut it there, and that's the end of the summary. That's everybody. So I'm going to process this, get it out, and then upload those other videos. Thank you so much for watching, and kind of feel like I need to take a shower. So take a shower, process this, and we'll get going. Thank you so much for watching, and any subscribers that I did not say thank you for subscribing on email, thank you so much. It's really a boost to your ego when somebody subscribes to your channel and then you say thank you, and then they say no thanks necessary. I really like your videos. I like the way that you're doing, and I like everything about it. It's just kind of a neat kick to your ego, or boost to your ego. Kick in the pants, that wouldn't be right. boost to your ego a little bit. So you're doing this stuff, it does take some time, and again, this is off the cuff, no script. I got little itty bitty notes here and I'm doing the best that I can, but so this is gonna be, the summary is going on a little bit longer than I wanted to. So we're gonna go 30 to 30 like that, and that should be it. So it's a 30-minute video. I can't believe I talked that long. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the subscribers, and especially thank you Buckeye Battles and everybody who was involved in that. And thank you OnceBitten for just being a good companion throughout the whole thing. And that's it. So Rubicon out. I'm back in the basement, and we will get back to you with some videos soon. Thanks everybody for watching.